The video clips for this podcast were filmed on the University of Limerick campus during March and April 2016. In this podcast, we will discuss the parts of the brain associated with memory, the 3 stages of memory, surveys and interviews we conducted in relation to memory and adolescence, and the effect music has on memory.
Parts of the brain associated with memory. The human brain consists of 3 main components: the cerebrum, the cerebellum, and the brainstem. The cerebrum is covered in a sheet of neural tissue known as the cerebral cortex. This plays a key role in memory and is divided into 4 main lobes. In the frontal lobe, there is an area known as the prefrontal cortex, and this plays an important part in processing short-term memories and retaining longer-term memories. The temporal lobe also plays a key role in the formation of long-term memory. Another part of the brain that is essential for memory function is the hippocampus. This is involved in the transference from short-term to long-term memory and the control of spatial memory and behavior.
Here we have the 3 stages of memory: sensory memory, short-term or working memory, and long-term memory. Sensory memory is the initial processing that transforms incoming stimuli into information so we can make sense of them. Visual and auditory sensations are coded as images and sound patterns in this stage. In short-term or working memory, the information that you are focusing on at a given moment is processed. Both temporary storage and active processing occurs at this point, where new information can be retained and held for about 15 to 20 seconds. Long-term memory is the last stage. This is where the permanent storage of knowledge occurs. It has an unlimited capacity, and once information is embedded here, it can be accessed easily and efficiently.
As part of our study on memory and adolescence, we decided to conduct a survey and interview a number of students. We got the permission of one of the students to film the interview.
My name is Arlish, I'm 21 and I'm studying science education here in UL.
Do you use social media when you were studying?
Yeah, I would. I try to stay away from it, but it's so easy to get distracted.
From this survey, we found that over 80% of the people use social media when they are studying. Even though it is said that these social media sites are distracting, they do have their positive effects on memory. According to a study by Dara Fontaine, the more a person checks how many friends they have on Facebook, the more their working memory level grows.
How often would you go over the same material in 1 week?
To be honest, unless I had an exam, I'd only go over the same material about once a week.
Researcher Meg Healy believes that without reviewing and going over information, it will be lost from your memory. The best time to review materials is within 1 to 2 days after receiving the information. From our research, 50% of the students review information 1 to 2 times per week. If you receive information and don't review it for 28 days, 81% of the material will be lost.
On average, how many hours of sleep do you get per night?
I try to get around 8 hours of sleep, but that doesn't always happen.
Jennifer Robinson says that sleep plays a critical role in learning and memory. Lack of sleep impairs a person's ability to focus and learn efficiently. Sleep is necessary to make a memory stick so that it can be recalled in the future. Getting at least 8 hours sleep is efficient for information retention. From our survey, 74% of people questioned get between 7 and 9 hours of sleep.
On average, how many social nights out do you have per week?
I'd go out about once or twice a week.
Alcohol primarily interferes with the ability to form new long-term memories, leaving intact previously established and long-term memories, and the ability to keep new information active in the memory for brief periods. As the amount of alcohol consumed increases, so does the magnitude of the memory impairments. Almost 50% of students we surveyed claim that they go out 1 to 2 times a week. According to a study done by Aaron M. White, PhD at the Duke of University Medical Center, North Carolina, blackouts are more common among college drinkers.
What techniques do you find most effective when studying?
Rote learning would definitely be my most used learning technique.
Many people find different techniques useful when learning. It all depends on personal preference. From our study, we found that rote learning is the most popular technique. Others include listening to music with and without lyrics, mind maps, diagrams, and rhymes.
Music is often defined as vocal or instrumental sounds combined in a way that creates beauty of form, harmony, and expression. Rhythm, on the other hand, is described as a strong regular sound of movement which forms a pattern. Every day, our senses and sensory memory helps us to absorb and uptake information and to process and store memories through short-term and long-term memory. Through our senses, we can relate and remember easily and naturally, such as when a child first learns to communicate through making sounds. Example of this is reading Dr. Seuss or copying jingles. Music and rhythm in education can help the students to enjoy and accept the lesson, take in information easily, comprehend and relate to this information, and to create an unstressful environment blocking out outside distractions, helping concentration. This gives the students a better chance to retain and extract information in the classroom, as well as the ability to make connections, for example, the Element song by Daniel Radcliffe.
There's antimony, arsenic, aluminum, selenium, and hydrogen, and oxygen, and nitrogen, and uranium, and nickel, neodymium, neptunium, germanium, and iron, americium, ruthenium, uranium, europium, zirconium, lutetium, vanadium, and anthium, and osmium, and acetine, and radium, and golden, protactinium, and indium, and gallium, and iodine, thorium, and thulium, and thallium.
To conclude our podcast, we discussed the parts of the brain associated with memory, the 3 stages of memory. We outlined the results of our interviews and surveys, and the effect music has on memory. We hope you enjoyed our podcast. Thanks for watching.